Hi, this is my AI search engine project that I named Search Cornelia. It is a AI search engine that web scrapes information from web and outside sources in order to mitigate hallucinations by citing its sources when it's providing answers. So you can input URLs and it would scrape its content. And it's currently web scraping right now. So it's going to take a little while. And here it is. Here's a summary with inline citations, and it gives you a summary of the article, of this URL, which is the same one, of course, right? And I also added a related section where there's related articles or links related to the user input. So you can see mental health treatment works, borderline personality disorder, very similar related topics. So I can also add other chats and without having to add a URL. So if it doesn't have a URL, it uses a Google Search API to look for content related to the user input in order to provide its answers. And web scrape information from those Google Search articles or links. So as you can see, caring for a guinea pig, tips and tricks. As suggested, call out the guinea pig as you approach this case to let it know it's coming. Okay. And I got it from here. And guinea pig hair. And you also have related articles related to this. So, guinea pig, related stuff. Articles and links, I mean. So that was that. We can also put summarize. We can also delete chats over here. And it summarizes the same one that only this one because I provided it. So it's able to also detect URLs if the user input is not only a URL on its own. And it uses the same one because that's the one I asked to summarize, of course. And then more related to this topic of the user input. So that was Search Cornelia. You can also share chat. And it was a very fun project to do. So now to the code. So this is the API route. And then I have the environment variables here. This is where I implemented the chat API with Grok and web scraping with Cherry and Pupitre. So I have the environment variables here. I imported the stuff over here. I sanitized the URLs. If it's a URL, I detects it and its pattern. I formatted the inline citations using this. Truncated the text with the shaping content. What else? I fetched the Google search results over here using the Google API. I script the content from the URL if the user message had a URL in the user input. And I also added this if it has a direct link provided by the user, and also allow it to detect if the message included the URL even with the text like summarize this or summarize this and that. So I also added that, as I mentioned when I was demoing the Search Cornelia as well. I also Otherwise, if there's no URLs in the user input, it just automatically Google searches if no URL is provided in order to web scrape information without URL provided. So over here, I truncated the content for AI processing using a prompt. I got the user input and the script content, and just in order for the search cornelia to be able to output how I wanted to. And I formatted the inline citations here. So this was pretty much the route API, the API route. And I also have the front end portion, the chat page, the submit. I updated the chat name with the first user message over here. As you can see, it updates to hey, of course, you see. I have that. And the bot message. I fetch the related articles using the custom search API, as I mentioned earlier. I created a new chat option, the share chat, the handle delete, and I added the sidebar over here, and this was like making it pretty for the front end. The main chat section, the header, the chatbot, the input form, and the related articles section over here. So this is pretty much the front end, connecting to the front end with the API. Now I also have the code here to add rate limiting with Redis. I set up Redis and rate limiter. The limiter will function, apply rate limiting. I return the appropriate response based on the limit status, and I added the limit info to response headers. And configured the middleware patch matcher, and I did that with this code. I also have the chatbot functionality over here, and in the component section where just the main functionality where it's you send message, the user message loads, the response, and just console errors just in case it is not able to retrieve information from the API. Over here, if something went wrong. And pretty much the main functionality of the chatbot. So this was my code, and this was my AI search engine. Thank you.